This is the Stingray Show, and yesterday on the Stingray Show, we discussed the rivalry in the Magnolia State between Mississippi State and Ole Miss on the Diamond this weekend. Today, we are focusing in on Roll Tide versus War Eagle as Auburn invades Tuscaloosa, the number 5 team in America in baseball for the first time since 2023. The previous 2 years, the games have been played down in Auburn due to the SEC scheduling, due to the expansion of Oklahoma and Texas. We will be joined by a beat writer from both sides to break down the rivalry of the Iron Bowl on the Diamond this weekend here in Tuscaloosa on this edition of the Stingray Show.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Heath, Stingray, Here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
And with that, we want to welcome you inside the Wednesday edition of the Stingray Show. Hope all is well with you. And this weekend, right here in Tuscaloosa, we have a huge matchup that is a rivalry game in baseball. It is number 5 Auburn at 20-4 overall, coming in to play Alabama that is 19-6. The first pitch of the first game will be at 6 p.m. on Friday. And here's what makes things really interesting for this game. The Crimson Tide of Alabama are currently 13-1 at home, defending Sewell Thomas Stadium. So this is going to be a rather fun series as both teams got good wins last night. To start off talking about the Auburn Tigers, who are the road team this year, we are about to be joined by the Barn Auburn's own Lindsey Crosby, who also has a baseball show for the Auburn baseball and he also does a little bit of Braves stuff as well. Lindsey, how are things with you, with the most beautiful village on the plains being a baseball hub right now?
They've been setting records all season for attendance. It's the second straight year because, like you said, baseball fever is taking Auburn right now. Honestly, they needed the baseball team to be good given what everybody else has done recently.
Yeah.
You know, Lindsey, looking at things, you know, Coach Beard had such a great program there back in the 90s. And, you know, being in college in the 90s and playing college baseball for a cup of coffee briefly, Auburn was a very well-respected program in the 80s and 90s. Coach Beard was highly respected. Mm-hmm. And then they built this beautiful park, and then it was like, okay, we're done now. We're just going to kind of quit doing what we've been doing and kind of walk away. And I want to say the late 90s was just kind of like a farewell, like, hey, we're going to forget about baseball over here at Auburn. Now, fast forward the past 5 years or so, Auburn's really stepped up their game. They brought in Tim Hudson. They brought in some people. Mm-hmm. You know, although that park is still beautiful, it might need some upgrades, but you're packing it. And that's when you need to do the upgrades, is when you're packing it. So with all of that, talk just briefly of this nice little run that we've seen with Butch Thompson, with the crowds coming in, with Tim Hudson coming back and helping out the program get off the mat and get going in the right direction, and just anything and everything good about this program. What are some things that you've really liked over the past few years to get Auburn back to where it's been?
Yeah. So bringing in actually some folks from Mississippi. You mentioned Butch Thompson, bringing in John Cohen as athletic director, a guy who obviously knows a lot of baseball. They just finished the third phase of the renovations of the ballpark, adding more seating, adding like premium spaces, student stuff. What I like about before the on-field product, what I like about a lot of the work that they've done recently is they were focused on the fan experience, expanding access, and making things better for the players, right?
Yeah.
Getting a better weight room, much larger, getting a better clubhouse, locker room, practice facilities, all of that stuff. I like that. But as far as the actual product on the field, I think what Butch Thompson has brought to Auburn has been the team being better than the sum of its parts. I do think when you look at the in-state schools before the advent of NIL, when you didn't have state scholarships like Georgia has with the Hope and things like that, the state schools were at a little bit of a disadvantage when it came to recruiting baseball players, when you had fractional scholarships and no outside way to supplement through NIL. And so the mentality Butch Thompson's teams have always had, they may not be the absolute most talented individual players as compared to their peers. They don't have the massive, I call them stuff monsters, the massive Friday night guys who are throwing 100 miles an hour and are going to be picked in the top 5 picks outside of Casey Mize, who was a number 1 overall. But they all just work really well together. Yes. Everybody understands their role. They understand what they're supposed to do, and they execute it well. And so I feel like perennially, Auburn baseball is kind of predicted to be middle to back end of the pack almost every single year. And in most of those seasons, they surprise people. They just kind of creep up on you. And before you realize it, Auburn's hosting a super regional at home to the team that ended up being the national runners-up in Coastal Carolina last year. Yeah. It's just something where they work so well together and guys understand their roles and execute them that they can beat teams that might be more talented from a draft pick perspective, but Auburn just handled their business on the field against them.
So I've got to ask you, as Auburn sits here with a record, surprisingly, of 20-4 and number 5 in the country, Lindsey, what has surprised you the most so far this season about Auburn?
Going into the year, we, and by we, I mean, kind of the media folks who had watched them in fall ball and everything, we assumed that the strength of this team would be the offense, right? You brought back some really talented freshmen in Chris Rimbert, who led off for Team USA over the summer. He was an All-American. Chase Fralick, your catcher, Bub Terrell in the outfield. And while you lost some veterans, right? You have Cooper McMurray's now with the Atlanta Braves. Like, you had quite a few guys get drafted. Ike Irish is a Baltimore Oriole. We thought the offense would kind of carry this team while you figured the pitching out. Instead, Auburn's pitching staff has had some of the best performances in the country. And I would argue, if you look at just overall statistics, not draft prospects, not velocity and all of that, but just overall what they've done or what he's done, Friday night starter Jake Marciano, you could argue, is the best pitcher in the country from production. 36 innings. He's allowed 4 runs in 36 innings with 51 strikeouts. And he's a guy that isn't just racking a lot of this stuff up against, like easy and non-power opponents, right? He's done a lot of this. Kansas State, Nebraska, Missouri. He held Texas to 1 run on 7 innings. Like he's doing it against good teams.
Right.
And when you can get a Friday night guy, you get one really, really good starter, the pitching staff can all kind of settle in around them. And we've seen Alex Petrovic on Sunday, Jackson Sanders on Saturday, how you use the relievers. Andreas Alvarez in the midweek may be the best midweek starter in the country simply because he would be a weekend guy for anybody else. But Auburn has him pitching on Tuesdays because they like their weekend rotation. He hasn't allowed an earned run since February 25th.
Ooh.
And he held Georgia Tech, best offense in the country, to 2 hits across 5 innings. South Alabama beat Alabama a few weeks ago. He held them last night to scoreless for 7 innings. So the pitching staff being as strong as they've been, I think, is the biggest surprise, simply because we thought that would be where they'd lag behind as they figured out roles while the offense carried them, and it's kind of been the opposite.
Mm-hmm. You know, looking at Butch Thompson, highly respected. A lot of people love him.
Mm-hmm.
Players love him. Coaches seem to love him. Very well respected guy. Knows his stuff. With that being said, Coach Thompson's going to point out some of his weaknesses. He's going to point out things that he's not liking too much.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that what's the word? I don't know if I want to use the word concerned or not, but what are some of the things that he's complaining about?
So I think with Butch, his frustrations sometimes get to kind of what I mentioned earlier. Like everybody kind of has a role and he wants you to do what needs to be done to win the game. I think some of his frustrations, especially in the Texas series, would probably come back to guys trying to do a little too much, right? One of the big philosophies he has offensively, and he's a pitching guy, so it's not like the offensive philosophy is incredibly fleshed out and detailed. His hitting coaches do that, but his idea is pass the baton, right? We're not trying to just crank a ton of home runs. There's a guy on first. I want you to put the ball in play. Let's get the guy to second base. Now, ideally, it's through a hit. It's through a base hit, but at the very least, get the guy over. Let's pass the baton down the lineup, get the guys in, and score runs. And I feel like at times, especially when they have situations like at Texas on Saturday, where they got behind early, they gave up some early runs, and they were in a hole. You sometimes see these guys try to do too much to erase the deficit all in one blow versus sticking with the game plan. And we've seen them have these comeback wins. That Saturday game against Texas, it was a 1-run game, and they had the winning runs on base in the 9th inning because they stuck to the plan. They got down, I think it was 6-0, and they came back and they lost 7-6. So it's probably guys trying to do too much and not staying within the game plan and not staying within the process of what we're going to do. Like a Butch Thompson offense is going to run your pitch count up and get you out of the game. Like that is their whole goal with this. And I just feel like when he gets frustrated at times, it's because they lose that approach. They start trying to play hero ball and you get a lot of quick outs. You kind of give a beleaguered starter a break sometimes, and you just have to be a little more patient.
Yes. Lindsay, let's look at the matchup this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here in Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. Alabama is 14-1 this season here in Tuscaloosa. They're defending their home turf really well. Mm-hmm. And this past weekend, they threw on Friday night their first no-hitter in 42 years with Florida. Talk about how nervous that Auburn should be going up against Alabama because of the success here in Tuscaloosa this season, and especially with the pitcher coming off of a no-hitter last weekend.
Yeah. So when it comes to the environment, they went to Missouri, not the same thing. I'll acknowledge that, but they also did a tournament in Arlington in an MLB park. The Tigers are 7-0 away from Plainsman Park. Okay. And so I do think that they've played quality competition away from home. That tournament, they beat Florida State. They beat Kansas State and someone else off the top of my head. But I don't necessarily know if the environment is going to completely change this series, right? It is harder to play on the road. That is a fact in the SEC in these ballparks. I do think it's Tyler Fay on Friday night, I believe. I do think that Tyler Fay, the type of pitcher that he is, right? He's throwing, low to mid 90s sinker. He can run it up into the high 90s if he needs to. Throws in a four-seamer. He's got like a slider and a cutter and a change. Like, he's got good feel for all of his secondaries. He can throw a lot of strikes. He got a lot of ground balls last year. I do think he has the ability, if he leans into that generate ground ball contact, he has the ability to negate some of what Auburn does as far as running your pitch count up, drawing walks, and getting you out of the game. So I do think that is something they have to be mindful of if he wants to kind of get back to that. Hey, I'm going to try to, punch a bunch of guys out and kind of dominate and hold the lineup down. It's going to be a rough day, but he does have the ability to somewhat mitigate Auburn offense's biggest strength, which is making contact after a long. I mean, I've multiple times this year, I've seen 7, 8, 9 pitch at bats. I've seen guys sitting there and just, if you're having a walk issue, making you throw strikes and drawing their walks. I've seen them walk the bases loaded and then walk a run in this year because they're just so good at identifying pitches off the plate. So I do think that's an area where, if with the right game plan, Tyler Fay can be successful on Friday night, but kind of similar to Auburn's offense. If he tries to do a little too much, that's where he could run into issues of, this is an offense who is going to make you throw strikes, and they're going to put those balls into play. Lean into that if you want to be successful.
Lindsay, if Auburn is going to lose this series to Alabama this weekend, what do you feel like will be the biggest weakness that would hurt Auburn?
I think it would be giving up a big inning early. Okay. Maybe not so much on Friday with Jake Marciano, but Jackson Sanders on Saturday. He's had a couple games now. I think Florida State when they were in Arlington, Texas last weekend, where he put the Tigers in a hole early and they had to kind of battle their way back out of it. And you kind of saw this a little bit again on Saturday. They with that Texas loss, they did stick with the game plan offensively and they chipped away at it. But I do think if Auburn drops more than one game in the series, that's probably what happens, is they give up that crooked number. And then when they try to get their own crooked number on the other side and they're not successful, they end up dropping a game that they could have made closer had they just chipped away.
Yes.
Lindsay, looking at the top 3 teams in the SEC, just win percentage, not conference record, win percentage. Right. Sitting at number 3, Nick Mingione there at Kentucky, who also served with Butch Thompson. Butch Thompson there at number 2 with Auburn, and number 1, Mississippi State. That blows my mind that the top 3 teams currently in the SEC and overall record is 3 Kentucky, 2 Auburn, 1 Mississippi State. All of those teams, there's a lot of teams sitting at 4-2. Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, Kentucky, Auburn, Mississippi State, all sitting at 4-2 in conference play. We've seen this a million times in SEC play. We see it absolutely every single year. Some teams kind of load up the schedule with cupcakes. Then they kind of, inflate their record, get to conference play. They're just kind of a regular old team. With that being said, what have you noticed about Auburn midweek games, the preseason being non-conference, before we got to conference play? What's one thing that you've noticed about this Auburn team of how they have attacked this schedule and the quality of their opponents?
So Auburn has, according to Warren Nolan's RPI, the number 2 strength of schedule in the country.
Correct.
They've really loaded up both in the non-con schedule and in the midweek. So in non-conference, yes, they played that tournament in Arlington. It was Kansas State, Florida State, Louisville, 2 ranked teams at the time. But they also brought Nebraska in for 3. In the midweek, they've already faced Cincinnati. They faced Georgia Tech. They have a road matchup coming with Georgia Tech. And what Auburn has tried to do here with this schedule is, one, they wanted to test the guys before SEC play. They wanted to get the guys facing the best possible competition before they get to the conference. But then, two, they wanted to have the resume, and it's a pattern that they've done before. They wanted to have the resume where, as long as they held their own in conference play, you go out, your goal is to win the weekend. Your goal is never to sweep. Your goal is to win the weekend. Like right now, they're 4-2 despite losing the series to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But their goal is, we want to be in position to get a national seed at the end of the year.
There you go.
And this schedule, more so than any other, they were really able to get some top teams to come to Plainsman Park and to set up home and homes, like with Georgia Tech. And so they've been tested really well. I do think that, like, you can see SEC play still something different. Texas was a different type of test for them, merely from the standpoint of they've never faced a pitching staff and a bullpen, like a rotation and a bullpen that were that deep in the same game. And you saw they weren't able to complete the comebacks against that bullpen when they had done it against different bullpens, Florida State and things like that. But they wanted to test themselves as much as possible. And I feel like they were able to accomplish that with this schedule. And personally, I like it. I would much rather spend 3 days in a press box covering a power conference team in Nebraska that you're facing versus a non-conference cupcake team where we expect game 3 is going to be ugly with a lot of walks, and they're not going to have any bullpen depth left, and it's going to be running a lot of freshmen out there. I would much rather cover it, like, as a member of the media, a good matchup, and the Tigers have delivered that this year.
I've got 2 questions left for you about Auburn. The first one, this weekend, Tuscaloosa, Auburn, and Alabama. Who do you have winning the series? And do you feel like Auburn is good enough to sweep Alabama on the road?
I don't ever, I'm going to take them in reverse order. I don't ever want to, even at home, predict a sweep. Right? When they went to Missouri, I had them going 2-1 in Missouri, simply because it's just so hard to beat any baseball team 3 straight times. We see it in the majors all the time. We see it in college baseball. That being said, I do think that Auburn has what they need to win the series. I do think it won't be decided till game 3.
Okay.
And I do think it'll be within a couple runs overall over the weekend, simply because the pitching staff is, again, incredibly deep. These starters have been fantastic. And you combine that with an offense that just got back Eddie Madrigal. They brought in a transfer. He was at, it was St. Mary's last year. Had a slugging percentage of almost 700. He tore his ACL in the fall. He made his first start of the season on Tuesday. And so getting that source of power back to an offense that has already been pretty decent, I think means it's a well-rounded team. And if they stay within themselves and Alabama doesn't play perfectly, which is possible, not every team can play every game perfectly.
Right.
I think Auburn has what they need to win the series. I wouldn't be shocked if they go 1-2. I wouldn't be shocked if they go 2-1. I would be shocked if either team sweeps this.
Gotcha.
Simply because it's just, I do think they're really evenly matched. I do think Justin LeBron's probably the best player on the field for both teams. Chris Rembert's right behind him. I think they'll both be first-round picks this year, but I do think Auburn has the pieces to win this series 2-1. Probably, if I had to guess, I'd say they probably drop game 2, and at least one of these games is decided by probably 1 run.
And Lindsay, the final Auburn question for me before we get to major leagues. Auburn missed out on Omaha last year by that close to Coastal Carolina. How far do you think this year's Auburn team can go? Can they be Omaha Tigers?
they have the pieces to do it. I think for Auburn, and if you look at that Coastal Carolina series, one, you feel good about the fact the team that kept you out of Omaha was the team that went to the national championship game. Like, you feel good about that.
Right.
I do think the issue they had there was pitching, and just like, one, having to face really, really good pitching. Cam Fluke is one of the best pitchers in the country. He'll be a high first-round pick this year. And their own pitching not being able to hold Coastal, especially late in game one. It was a 10-inning game. I think that this is an Omaha capable team. I personally have them as a national seed and hosting a regional in Plainsman Park again. And from there, it kind of depends on health in the draw. Yeah. But I do think they have what they need from a roster perspective, from an RPI perspective, from a having tested yourself in tough non-con play to make Omaha. But the farthest I want to confidently predict is they'll be a national seed, and we'll see what happens from there.
Okay.
Lindsay, looking at the college baseball rankings, and there's 8,000 college baseball rankings.
And they're all different too. Yeah.
But there was one I saw this morning that made me laugh, because I was like, you have a poll, but then you do another poll, and it's the USA Today Super 16. And they rank the top 16 teams in college baseball. It's more of a, I guess, a power ranking, or I don't know what it is. But to run through it super quick, and I'm just going to mention the SEC teams from bottom to top. Oklahoma at 11. You got Georgia at 7. Arkansas at 6. Mississippi State tied with Georgia Tech at 4. Auburn at 3. Then Texas at 2. You got UCLA at 1. But you're getting some love from around the conference, or from around the nation, from these pollsters. Again, there's 8,000 polls out there, but let's face the facts. Auburn's getting a lot of love in these polls, and they deserve all the love that they are getting. Mm-hmm. They are playing at a high level. They are consistently starting to put together a program just like Coach Beard did back in the 80s and 90s. They're consistently good year in and year out, and they're trying to get from good to great. With all of that, the success that's happening to Auburn, is there any concern that these guys are not going to take it in stride, or like, hey man, did you see they ranked us ahead of this so-and-so in this poll, and hey, we're getting this love, and hey, so-and-so's writing this article, hey, D1 Baseball is coming to visit us this weekend? Any concern about the notoriety and the goodwill and fame coming toward this Auburn team, because it's all very well deserved by Butch Thompson and his club? Any concerns with the outside noise?
I think Butch Thompson, like you mentioned him, I think Coach Thompson's done a really good job of quieting a lot of that and getting these guys to understand, keeping a narrow view of directly what's in front of them. Like, they know, and I remember talking to some of these guys late in the year last year, especially some of the freshmen, your Rimbert, your Freilich, who were coming in and excelling as freshmen. I think that run last year that some of those guys had, who are now leaders on this team, I think that helped a lot with understanding that we can't look ahead, and we can't, none of this is given to us, right? That we still have to go out and we still have to earn and validate that ranking that we got, or we won't have it anymore. And I think Butch has done a good job of keeping the perspective with these guys. So, like, I didn't see it late last year when they were in line to possibly get a national seed. I didn't see it then. I haven't seen it yet. But at the same time, we have to remember, these are 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. Like, at times, I'm sure some of that's going to happen. But I've been really impressed so far with the maturity of the roster. And I do think the type of player that Butch Thompson looks to and looks to bring into the program, those are typically the type of players that aren't necessarily looking for, oh, I want to be the top-ranked shortstop in the draft. They're looking for, hey, I want to come into college and I want to win on a team that I enjoy playing for. So I do think that it's a concern with everybody, but with Auburn so far, I haven't seen it, and a lot of that's credit to Butch Thompson.
All right. So now let's transition, because Thursday We have the Sweet 16 going on in the NCAA tournament. But for you, Lindsay, we have opening day of Major League Baseball, and you actually are a part of the Braves in Atlanta. Briefly, tell us what you do and all about your stuff that you cover for the Braves, and give us a preview of what you think the Braves are going to do this year as they were really struggling last year.
Thanks for letting me get the plug in. Yeah, so I am the founder of Braves Today. It's both a daily newsletter over at bravestoday.com and a daily podcast, wherever you get your podcast, and on YouTube called Braves Today. I also do live post-game shows after every Atlanta Braves game for the Locked On Podcast Network. I am a credentialed member of the media. I'm in the press conferences. I do all of that stuff with the Braves.
Cool.
And they have, at least going into spring, they had one of the deepest rosters they had ever had, right? The deepest bench they'd had under Alex Anthopoulos. They had, I want to say it was 9 different starting rotation options going into spring. They've already put 4 starting pitchers on the injured list in spring training. Now, the good news is all but one of those guys can come back this year. You could get a first one back in a couple weeks. But I have the realistic outcome of this team, barring more catastrophic injuries. I have the realistic outcome of this team as a second place team in the division, simply because I do think the rotation is now probably a weakness compared to where it was 6 weeks ago, but I have them as a playoff team. I have Chris Sale is still going to be a Cy Young candidate. Can you beat Paul Skeens? Probably not, but he'll be a candidate. Ronald Acuna Jr. will be an MVP candidate. Can he beat Shohei Ohtani? Probably not, but he'll be an MVP candidate. And they have the pieces to make a deep postseason run if they can get some of those injured starters back healthy. But that's going to be the big cloud. It's now the 3rd straight year that they've had significant outlier injuries. And this year they happened earlier than ever. So we got to figure out what to do and how to go forward.
Yes.
All right. I'm not one of those staunchy, have my nose in the air baseball traditionalists.
Yeah.
But I am upset. I think opening day should always be Monday, the first Monday in April. I think it should be that way. I think it should always stay there. And I think the Cincinnati Reds should always be the very first game.
I was about to say, I'll go farther than you, and I think Cincinnati should always be one of the first games, and then Washington should start soon after, and the president should throw out the first pitch. And it should be something like that. It shouldn't be a night game on Wednesday.
Thank you.
On Netflix.
Yes.
And then, like, the Braves don't play until Friday. The season starts tonight. The Braves don't have their first game until Friday. And then they play 13 games in 13 days. There's a couple things about the schedule that have always frustrated me. That is one, how not every team gets to play on opening day. I understand keeping some time for rainouts, but still. And then the fact that now that you want to bring in interleague play, like, okay, that's fine. If you want to do it, I understand it. They introduced that when I was, a teenager. But to play a team, let's say you play a team in late April, and then you turn around and play them again a week or a week and a half later, is frustrating to me. If the goal is to let you see every team home and away every year, split those up into different parts of the season. Because if, let's say you want to see Shohei Ohtani when the Braves go visit the Dodgers. If Ohtani's on the 15-day IL and you play them twice in 2 weeks, you probably don't get to see Shohei Ohtani. And if you space it out a month separate or more, he could be back. So that's a complaint I have about the schedule. Opening day is the biggest complaint I have. Second complaint is you have these games crammed too close together when you face a team you don't see often.
Yes.
Yeah. The biggest thing is they used to be so much fun as a kid growing up, and even into my 30s, is that college basketball is ending, but baseball starts today. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of one of the, we're having closure with one, but we're all excited about the other. And now the other thing about fun that was opening day is, hey, everyone's playing. Everyone's building to this point, this date. We're all going to take off running on the marathon right here. And now it's like, hey, we're going to play in Tokyo a month earlier, and we're going to do this, and we're starting on Wednesday on Netflix, and we're doing. I'm like, I think it's ruined opening day. I don't think it's ruined baseball, but I think it's ruined opening day. I think they have just stomped on it, and there's other ways to do this. Even if they wanted to move the season back 2 weeks where we all start together, I would be more for that than this, that, there, here, there. Like
It's the
it's
concept
insane.
of trying to make a moment
Yes.
versus sticking with the tradition of this thing for everybody. Like if everybody plays on opening day and it's that Monday, I'd probably offer to let my kids stay home and watch baseball with me all day. Like that'd be a holiday in my house. But instead, there's a game tonight, then there's some tomorrow, and then some on Friday, and it's not the same impact culturally, I think. But they want that moment of everybody watching the one game on Wednesday night if you have Netflix.
Yeah, I was that kid in 5th grade that was sneaking a Walkman to school on opening day so I could listen to the Cardinals at recess. You know, I was that kid. I grew up here in the Memphis area. You know, majority of the South has always been Cardinals territory and Cardinals country, from Texas, Louisiana, even to parts of Florida. And yeah, the Braves have kind of chopped into that. They started that in the 90s. But, you know, that was the fun about opening day. Is that and I remember Mel Allen in This Week in Baseball, you know, Ricky Henderson stole the first base of the 19 whatever season, and so-and-so hit the first home run of the season, and 2 minutes later, so-and-so hit a grand slam. And it was always fun to hear all that stuff. It didn't mean anything. It didn't mean one thing, but it was always fun to hear who did what and this and that. I'm with you with that. We could solve all of the world's baseball problems on the show. I know we could, and everyone would be happier. I do understand it's about money and television markets, and we got to max our profits, and we got to do. I get all that, but I still think there's a happy medium where you can make these things work real easy just with opening day. And I think if we moved it up a couple of weeks, I don't think anyone would complain. But that's me complaining. We'll move on. With that, here's a fun question for you.
Okay.
Lindsay, you've been elected president. You get to serve 2 terms. Okay. You have to throw out 8 different opening day pitches for the season. You have to choose 8 different teams.
Oh, 8 teams. Gosh darn it. I wanted to do the Braves all 8 times.
So you can choose the Braves for one. It could be the first, it could be the last, it could be whatever. But are you choosing what stadiums? Because I'm probably going to do this just off stadiums.
That was my first thought too, was what stadiums do I want to go to? All right, the quick list off the top of my head. The Braves would be last. I want my last opening day as president to be my home team. But I want to throw one in Fenway Park. I want to throw one in Wrigley Field. I want to throw one in Camden Yards. I want to throw one in PNC Park because it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I want to do that. I wouldn't mind PNC. I'm not sold. I don't have to do PNC, but I wouldn't mind PNC. I do want to do Petco. So San Diego.
Yeah.
Petco's
beautiful.
Lovely ballpark. I do want to give the Colorado Rockies some love. I do think that's it's a wonderful baseball area, and I wish the team were better. I think that's 7. I've got 1 left. I probably should do one of the New York ones, but I don't want to. I really don't want to. I'm trying to think about who the 8th would be. That's a tough question. Who would the 8th be? I don't want to get booed in Philly, so I'm not going to do that. I don't want to. I don't want to get booed in Philly.
And you would. Everybody would.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. They threw batteries at Santa. They'd boo anybody. But when they find out I'm a Braves fan, they double boo me. Let's go with Seattle. T-Mobile Park. It's a really wonderful ballpark when it's not raining. Let's do that. But I'd never been asked that question before. That's a good question, Heath.
I'm making bad political jokes now. You can stick it to the trade deal. It's like, I'm doing it in Toronto. Suck on that.
It's like Toronto. I will come to a first pitch here if we get Dylan Cease back to the States. Like, let's do that. If you give Dylan Cease to the Braves, I'll do a first pitch here.
There you go.
All right. So, Lindsay, any final words for you about the Auburn Tigers or the Braves as Auburn plays Friday night at Alabama, and the Braves start their season on Friday as well.
I think both of these teams, the character of the clubhouses, I've been in both, right? The character of the players, the chemistry that the clubhouse has, the way that the managers run the teams. I'm happy to be somewhat tied to the performance of these teams.
Right.
I feel like both of them for a long time now have done things the right way and are good representatives of what baseball can be. And I'm happy to cover the two of them on a daily basis.
Right.
Well, Lindsay, you're the presidential hopeful for 2044, and don't get impeached in your 7th year so you can make it to Atlanta.
There we go. Thanks a lot.
Hey,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Look, we would love to catch up with you during the season to talk a little Braves baseball, because we've not actually done that before because we've not had a connection to the Braves. But let's do plan during the season to catch up and talk about Chop On. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, man. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday, okay?
Thanks for having me, of course.
Heath, that was awesome. And I know you're a Cardinals fan for St. Louis and you're a Dodgers fan.
No, I am not a Dodgers fan.
I'm sorry. I'm Padres.
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Padres. That was a slip of the tongue. I'm sorry. But, we got to give a little bit of love to Chop On and the Braves here on this show, man.
No, we don't. Well, why do we have to give love to the Braves? Why not the Florida Marlins? Why not the Cleveland Indians? Yes, they're still the Indians. They're not the Guardians. They're not the Spiders. They're the Indians. Why not the Texas Rangers?
We're in the heart of the Southeast, man.
So are the Marlins. So are the Cardinals.
Yeah,
see there. You pick and choose. No,
right.
I'm okay. Anytime we talk baseball, I'm always okay with it.
Right.
Absolutely love everything college. I love more than professional. That includes baseball, but I love all baseball. I love all football. Basketball, not so much. The NBA is horrifically, terribly bad. But yeah, we'll keep it at that. But yeah, I'm always okay to talk baseball. I don't care if it's Little League baseball. I'll talk it with you. So I'm game, man.
Heath, I tell you, man, the season for Atlanta derailed before it even started last year. They lost the opening series to the Padres. I knew that was going to be a long season when they lost out west.
No, you can't say that, man. I mean, you play 162 games. You lose the first series. It's not that big a deal. It's really not. I mean, yeah, do teams miss playoffs or a wild card or clinching the pennant by a game? Yeah, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. But it is a marathon, and that's how you get to look at it, because you're going to steal some games, especially the better teams. But I hadn't had coffee, I hadn't had water, I hadn't had anything, man. I am dragging this morning. Steven, I don't know what happened to either one of us. Neither one of us slept good last night.
Right.
You were texting me this morning, you didn't sleep good. I was like, man, I didn't sleep good either. But yeah.
And
Steven, you were talking baseball. I was at the park all day Saturday for a tournament. Got out there. I was on the field at 8. I left like 8:45 that night. So I was out there 12 and a half hours. And then Sunday I had 2 practices. Monday I had a practice. Last night I had a practice. Tonight, the team that I'm assistant coaching for called a last-second practice. I'm like, come on, man. I was like, oh, this was going to be my night off. I'm at the ball field every single night. So, yeah.
I'm glad we did this show in the morning.
Yeah. So, the games will start up here shortly, and looking forward to that.
Heath, I do want to apologize. We were supposed to have Stephen M. Smith join us. He is currently living still in Pell City. However, he had an internet outage this morning and he is not able to join us because of no internet. So, technology strikes again, so we will not be doing any of the in depth insight into Alabama like we did for Auburn because of internet outages for Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama magazine.
I hate that. When
I
Steven
do
comes on, I always enjoy talking to him.
Yeah.
That's the only time I ever call you Stingray is when he comes on the show.
Now, I will say this briefly. Alabama did win their midweek game last night against Austin Peay up in Huntsville at the Trash Pandas Park. They won that game 6-2. They are currently 19-7 overall. They are 3-3 in the conference. They have a 73% winning percentage. Alabama has oddly enough won 4 in a row after sweeping the Florida Gators this past weekend here in Tuscaloosa at a neutral site. Alabama is 3-1 on the road. They are 2-5 and at home. And this is the big one. They are 14-1 and they welcome in number 5 Auburn for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series starting at 6:30 on Friday evening. So Alabama defending their home turf of 14-1 going up against 20-4 Auburn. What do you think about that matchup? And I will also probably say that none of the current Auburn players were probably on the last team that played here in Tuscaloosa because Auburn has not traveled to Tuscaloosa in 2 years since 2023.
I know I'll have my own series. Baseball's different, man.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys have played with and against each other for years. They know each other. They probably text each other all the time. Both teams, they know each other tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things where it kind of makes it fun. You always want to beat your buddy.
Yeah.
Or this guy got the best of you when you were 11 and you get the best of him at 14 and he got the best of you at 17 and your senior year, his team did this. And, you both got redshirted your freshman year in college and now you're getting to play. And so, I mean, there's back and forth. There's all this. And that's what makes, these rivalries fun. Baseball is a community that's getting bigger geographically, but smaller because you're starting to cross paths with a lot more players and a lot of interaction. And so these guys have gone to camps together. They've played in tournaments together for years. They know each other tremendously well. And and they've probably played with each other a couple of times, whether pick up on a weekend with a team or a full season. But yeah, it's going to be fun and can't wait to see this interstate battle.
All right. Now, Heath, 2023, Alabama won the series after losing the Friday night game, taking the next two. Then in 2023, they faced off in Hoover and Alabama won 7-4. However, 24 and in 25, Alabama lost both series on the Plains 2-1. So here recently, over the past 2 years, it has not gone very well for the Crimson Tide of Alabama against Auburn.
Well, Auburn's definitely been the more consistent team.
Yes.
Auburn has been more consistent. They've won at a higher level, less coaching turnover, less drama around the program.
Yeah.
Auburn has consistently done things better in a higher level for the last few years. So does that mean they're going to win games? No. Does it put them in position and have a chance to win more games? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right.
But we'll have to wait and see. Baseball's the crazy sport, man, because you get one pitcher that's hot, Like we saw that with the no hitter with Alabama last Friday.
Yeah.
You get a pitcher that's hot. There's nothing you can do about it. He's just hot. You have to deal with it. But
Just like in basketball, teams hitting untouchable from 3-point range. You just got to let it happen.
yeah, I mean, you either got to foul him hard or you try to do something to break it up. But it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, Heath, are you ready to break into our post show and talk about the National Day, the national history, birthdays, and deaths?
Let's do it.
All right, so I am about to run a quick advertising from one of our wonderful advertisers here in Tuscaloosa and West Alabama, and then we will do the National Day of Today and the National History of Today in our post show right after this. How would you like to live where you love in the state of Alabama? Whether it is you're upsizing, downsizing, retiring at the beach, or relocating for your job, then you are going to want to contact Celeste Hagler, owner of First Class Real Estate South Home Group, with brokers in Tuscaloosa, Orange Beach, and Huntsville. They can help you with the buying, selling, and investment needs throughout the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste at 205-861-5698. Once again, that is 205-861-5698, and schedule a consultation to discuss your real estate goals anywhere across the state of Alabama. All right, so we are back, and apparently Heath has got shrimp for eyes now, as he was doing this with, I don't know, I guess you were in Key West. That's a funny looking picture.
I was my son, who was 15. I think he took that picture when he was about 7 years old.
Wow.
We were, my wife was crazy, insanely pregnant with our daughter Hazel. She's our third child, third of four. And we had played softball that entire summer. My oldest daughter, her team, the Hernando Spirit, just got on a run, and we won state that year. We won the World Series that year. We beat teams from all over. That's why we were world champions. But we got done with the season. We had 10 days left in the summer because they just refused to lose, and they just kept winning and winning and winning and winning. And my wife said, "I want you to take me to a beach," and she couldn't go far. And I said, "Baby, the closest beach is Biloxi, and that's not really a beach; it's a man-made beach." She goes, "I don't care, take me there." And so we went down to Margaritaville, down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and beautiful place. The top floor of the parking garage, the fifth floor of the parking garage, is a water park.
Nice.
And it is awesome. But that's a place called Shaggy's. We ate at a place called Shaggy's, and I actually stole that idea. Jimmy Buffett on his box set. What was that? Beaches, boats, beaches, bars, and ballads. One of the pictures, he had two. I can't remember if they were lemons or limes, but he drew eyes on them and held them up to his eyes. And my son wanted to take my picture, and I'm wearing my Wally World shirt. And I was like, okay. And so I put my royal red shrimp up to my eyes.
I got you. Yeah,
And,
I was like, those aren't lemons.
No, I didn't have any lemons, and I didn't have a Sharpie to write to draw eyes on them.
Gotcha.
So I just put those up, and my son thought it was funny. But I think the Wally World shirt really sets the picture off. You gotta love Wally World. So there you go, man.
Hey, I love that. We all love stories, right?
We most of the time, if it's good.
All right. Today is March the 25th, and it is, now this one's kind of funny, Heath, whole day for Whole Grain Day. Embrace the whole grain with gusto.
With what?
Gusto.
Okay. I have nothing for gusto.
Or whole grain. I just, no.
I mean, What you gonna do? Run down to your sub shop and make sure you get wheat bread, the whole grain. I don't know. I got nothing on that one. I usually
All
have
right.
something for food. I've got nothing for that one, Steven. You got me.
All right. National Little Red Wagon Day is today.
You know
Why? I don't know.
they make the little red wagons now plastic. They don't make them metal anymore. Or you still can buy the metal one. But yeah, dude, did you ever get in a red wagon down a steep hill and just jump in and just put your life on the line?
I don't remember. I don't think I did. Maybe I
That means
did.
you probably hit a tree and you don't remember. And that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, that used to be so much fun. Kids don't scare themselves anymore.
Right.
Like, one of our buddies would do something stupid, like, "Oh yeah, well I'm stupider than you. I can do something more stupid." And you would just someone would swing from a tire swing, like, "Oh yeah, well I'm gonna jump off the tree and try to land in the tire on the tire swing while you're throwing it."
Right.
Like, yeah, I think that's the problem with the kids today. They don't have the guts and the gusto that make it happen.
All right. Now, Heath, bear with me here. And because this is a new one on me, but this one really sounds good. Lobster, butter, cream, sherry, eggs, and cayenne pepper, which is known as National Lobster Newburgh Day.
I ain't heard no lobster Newburgh, but I'll sure try it. I love some lobster, man.
That does sound pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just noticed in the comments. I hadn't looked at the comments all morning. Mario texted, "Hey, Mario, I don't know if you're still with us or not, but Mario, I had Texas in my bracket. I had the Longhorns, the 11 seed, in my bracket in the Sweet 16. So my bracket didn't get messed up. I'm good. I'm good."
All right. So, Heath, you want to do birthdays, you want to do deaths.
Get deaths out of the way, man.
All right. We got one. And it was an American country western singer who helped create the Bakersfield Sound. Who am I talking about? His group was named the Buckaroos.
Oh, you talking about? I see his red, white, and blue guitar. Oh gosh, and his sequence outfit, his little blonde hair. Oh my gosh, who was the Buckaroos? Um, I need multiple choice, Steven. I see their album. I see their album. I see several of their album covers. Who was that? Who was it, Steven?
Buck Owens.
That's it. Yes, from Hee Haw. I see his guitar. I see his sequin suits. I saw his little blonde hair self. But yes, Buck Owens and the Buckaroos. Yes, 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 yes. I remember that.
He died on this day in 2006. And Heath, talk about an interesting thing. He had not one, not two, but 15 number one hits in a row.
Wow. I'm pulling up album covers. There's one album cover that I saw, and they were all outside. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. In his little sequin suit, playing at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. There was an Italian restaurant here in town. It's in South Haven. It's not in Hernando. It's in South Haven, and they used to have all these albums on the wall.
Right.
The place was called Lonnie Tance. Lonnie, I don't think, is no longer with us. They sold it, and the new owner took all the albums off the walls. Like, man, that was half the fun of coming in here. I mean, they probably had 400 to 500 albums. Ceilings were probably 12, 15 feet tall, and there were albums from the booth all the way up.
Wow.
And it was so much fun. But there was multiple Buck Owen and the Buckaroos
Right.
album covers. I don't know if you see that sequence, man. You see
Yes.
that?
Dude, it's awesome.
I can't tell you one song on that album. I can't tell you. I don't think I can probably tell you any Buck Owens songs, but I do remember Buck Owens on Hee Haw as a kid.
You don't remember? You don't remember Act Naturally?
I probably do. My parents listened to that stuff when I was a kid. I wouldn't be shocked if my parents had one or two of those albums.
Yeah. You
Um,
don't remember I've Got a Tiger by the Tail?
I do remember that one. I do remember that one.
And then later on in his career, he did The Streets of Bakersfield with one Dwight Yoakam.
I didn't know him and Dwight Yoakam did anything.
Yes,
I'll
that
check that out later today.
dude, you need to. That one is really tip top country, man.
I have to do something that I'm not good at and I hate doing, but I have to do it like 2 or 3 times a year. I have to work on my lawnmower today. I think I have a spark plug issue, but I don't know. But yeah, it's not starting. I know that.
All right, now Heath, birthdays. Let's go from death to positive. Today is the birthday of a gentleman who was born on 1918 and died in 1995. He was an American winning sports commentator known for his tell it like it is style. Now,
Howard Cosell?
he described himself as arrogant, pompous, obnoxious, vain, cruel, verbose, a show off. And there's no question that I am all of those things, none other than Howard Cosell.
Legendary. He did everything before Madonna did it, and he was a sportscaster.
Yeah.
He was always kind of outlandish. If I don't know if you ever saw the movie, I think HBO did this movie. It's called Monday Night Mayhem, and he is talking about the start of Monday Night Football and everything. And Keith Jackson, who we all love, Keith Jackson, the great voice of college football. Keith Jackson was trying to do it in the NFL, and Keith Jackson was the best play-by-play guy. And Howard didn't want to make it about football. Yeah. Howard wanted to make it about himself and controversy. So whatever drama was surrounding a team, Howard would exploit it.
Right.
And if there wasn't any drama, Howard would make something up and say something political or heaven forbid, there was a time or two he said something racial. But he would make it about this and that, and then people would start complaining, and then he would talk about him being I'm offended that you're even saying that. I'm Jewish, and the things that my people have suffered. And I mean, He was just always in your face, brash. And if anything came back on him, he had, escape routes, but he would spin it to something else. But I will say this, with that movie, Monday Night Mayhem, he went to oh gosh, why did I forget his name? I see his face. Dandy Don that used to do Monday Night Football with him, and he played for the Cowboys. He grew up in Texas. He grew up on a ranch. And Howard Cosell, in his New York City accent, Jewish accent, he was like, "You've watched plenty of cowboy movies. It's very simple. You just wear the white hat, Dandy Don." And he's like, "Why do you call me Dandy Don?" He goes, "Because America's going to love you because they're going to hate me because I'm always going to be wearing the black hat."
Yeah.
And that's how they set up Monday Night Football. There was no Monday Night Football beforehand. So people wanted to watch it because it was football, but people who didn't watch football watched it because of Howard Cosell. And it was a massive media splash. And we still have Monday Night Football today. People talk about, hey, who's the Monday night game? It used to be so much bigger, like 8 trillion times bigger. Not a billion, not a million, 1 trillion times bigger than what it is now. But people still turn into Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
But Howard Cosell, thank him for the great thing that he gave everybody in America, Monday Night Football.
All right. It is also the birthday of a actress recognized for her role in Hocus Pocus and Sex in the City, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah, she married what's his face, Ferris Bueller. What's his name? Man, my mind is blank. I didn't sleep worth jack squat last night. I am so stinking tired. I see everyone's faces. I can't think of anyone's name today, Steven. But yeah, what's his face that played Ferris Bueller?
Right.
They're married, they got kids, blah blah blah. But Sarah Jessica Parker played Footloose. She played Rusty in Footloose. She played in a lot of things. Girls
Yeah.
Just Want to Have Fun. It's about a dance contest, a television dance contest. So yeah, how old is Sarah Jessica Parker?
1965.
So she's 10 years older than me. She turned 60 today.
Right.
Wow. Good for her.
All right. Heath, two more, and both of them are singers. Now, this guy was the first Western star to play in Moscow, meaning the first American to play a concert in Moscow, and his real name on his birth certificate is Reginald Dwight.
What year did he play in Moscow?
Not sure about that, but he was born in 47.
Man, that's going to put him almost 80 years old.
If I tell you the major thing, it will give it away. You may just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, do it.
He played at Princess Diana's funeral.
Elton John.
Sir Elton John, today is his birthday.
He got knighted. Isn't
Yes.
that funny?
Yep.
He plays the piano for a living and got knighted. Good, God bless him. Good for him. I've never been big on Elton John. Like, there's some songs I like by Elton John. I don't hate him. I don't hate his music. I like Rocket Man. I like Saturday Night's Made for Fighting. But there's only like a couple of songs I like by Elton John. And the rest of them I'm like, whatever. I've always wondered how he stayed famous.
I have no idea, dude.
Yeah, me neither. But I will say this about Elton John. There's you could probably find this on YouTube. He used to give the most ridiculous names for his hotel reservation. And most of them are highly inappropriate, but I'll make it PG on here. He was the guy that would I'm checking in for Pat McCrotch. He was that guy. He was always doing like silly names like that during check-in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Heath, finally on the birthdays, I'm just going to go ahead and say this for time. She is a soul singer referred to as the Queen of Soul.
Nita Franklin?
R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin. What did I say, Anita?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the great Aretha Franklin. I can't believe I said it. Dude, I need a nap. It is so crazy. I need a nap.
All right, Heath, let's briefly run through the history of today. On March the 25th, can you tell me what major sport event happens for the very first time this day in 1934?
I don't know, but Mario, have a good day. John's chiming in a little bit. Yeah, John, I think he still does. I see your comment. What happened in 1934?
The first Masters golf tournament, and the winner was Horton Smith.
Wow. They still have whoever the oldest winner is. They get to tee off first at the Masters. And I'm not making light of it. Some of these men are so incredibly old and haven't swung a golf club in a year, but they'll go out and they'll hit that first ball just because of the respect of the Masters and how much the Masters tournament means to the game of golf and meant to them. And Augusta National treats their champions tremendously.
Yeah.
And so, you'll see some guy in his 80s or whatever. They'll go out there and tee one up and smack it. And he might not hit another ball for a whole nother year, but
Right.
he will, if the good Lord willing, he's still alive and can make it the next year, he'll be back to do it again.
All right. Heath, Can you tell me what is introduced for the first time in 1939?
Waffle makers. I have no idea.
Billboard magazine introduces a new type of music to their music chart. It is currently known as country music, but back in 39, it was known as hillbilly,
Oh, fun stuff. Hillbilly music.
which
That's
is
funny.
now turned into country music.
Yeah, I never understand or understood why they people used to call it country and western music. It's like no one calls it western music.
Right.
It's just country music. I never understood that. I've never been a country music. Well, we talked about that earlier this week. I stopped listening to country music after Garth because Garth ruined it for everybody. Yeah, we don't have great legends like Buck Owens and the Buckaroos anymore to listen to.
No.
But yeah, which I'll be listening to when I replace the spark plugs on my lawnmower.
All right. Heath, 1954. If you had this in 54, you were very well to do. The first color TV set is manufactured by RCA, featuring a 12.5-inch screen to be sold for $1,000.
In what year?
54.
Yeah, TVs only got cheap here in the last few years. Dude, I remember when the first flat screens came out. I was in college. This is like 1996.
Mm-hmm.
You know what a flat screen cost back then?
2,000, 3,000.
Like 10, 12 grand.
Oh my gosh.
Like, dude, you have a car sitting on your wall. I mean, you could get you a good car back then for $10,000.
Yep.
I mean, you get you you buy grandma's car that she's barely drove for the last 15 years. You could buy that for less than $10,000 today and have a beautiful, nice ride with
Yep.
low mileage. But yeah, it blew my mind. $1,000 in what year?
1954.
And it was 12 inches. And it wasn't 12 inches up and down. I mean, it was 12 inches diagonal, which makes it really small.
Yeah.
But the screen I'm looking at right now is bigger than 12 inches.
Yeah. Heath, can you tell me what song goes to number one on the pop charts on this day in 1967? And my mother absolutely loves this song by the Turtles.
Turtles didn't have that many hit songs. I should know this. I don't know this.
Happy Together.
Wow, really?
Happy Together. Number one.
That's fun, man.
Okay, now sticking with music, can you tell me what cover version of a song goes gold on this day in 1971? And I don't think we have ever mentioned this individual on this show.
71. I mean, this is pre-disco. We're coming out of all the, well, actually, we're still in the protest songs. Bridge Over Troubled Water by Elvis. Random guess.
Tom Jones cover version of Paul Anka's She's a Lady goes gold.
Tom Jones was great.
Dude, he's phenomenal.
Tom Jones had a voice, man.
Yes.
He had a voice. Tom Jones, man, he just had that sleek style to him. You know, he had that bad hair, but that great voice. And yeah,
All right. What is your favorite? What is your favorite Tom Jones song? Because mine's right off the top of my head.
It's not unusual. It comes to mind. What's New Pussycat? It's always a fun song. Yeah, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Mine is why, Delilah. Love that song, dude. And that actually is not a good song storytelling wise, but dude, I love that song, Delilah. Love that song, man.
It's not unusual to be loved
Yep.
by anyone.
Yep.
Ba-da-bum-ba-da.
And by the way, a couple of years ago, I was going through some old VHS tapes that we had found somewhere. And Heath, one of them was not labeled. I put it in. Do you know what was on that tape that was really, really good?
Tom Jones?
At Cardolph Castle in the 90s. If you get a chance, watch that concert. That one is phenomenal.
If I put on anything, I'll go to sleep right now. Dude, I don't know why I'm dragging tail so bad, but I am.
But Cardolph, I think that's how you say it, Cardolph Castle over in the UK, that was one heck of a concert he put on back in the 90s.
You should post it on the YouTube page or the Facebook page.
Okay. Yes, I will do that. All right, Heath, just a few more. Can you tell me what TV show debuts on CBS on this day in 82? I know the name. I've never seen any of the episodes.
I'm a young kid. Magnum PI is on. Murder, She Wrote is on. The Bob Newhart Show is on.
I believe it was a series.
Trapper John MD was on. MASH was on, but MASH has been around for a while.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, go on.
Cagney and Lacey.
Oh, I remember that show. You know what used to come on after it? Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they were like CIA agents or something, or FBI. I can't remember. But Cagney and Lacey, I remember two female cops. And Cagney and Lacey, and then Scarecrow and Mrs. King on after them.
All right, Heath, 3 more, and then we'll get out of here. Can you tell me what major concert event happened on this day in 1983 that literally put a dance craze into the stratosphere?
1983? It's got to be the Moonwalk.
Motown's 25, a concert celebrating the anniversary of Motown Records, is taped for a broadcast in Pasadena, California. The performers included The Miracles, The Temptations, The Four Tops, Diana Ross and the Supremes, the Jackson 5, and Michael Jackson, who unveiled the moonwalk dance during his song Billie Jean.
I remember that, man.
And the show would air on national TV in May 16th of 1983.
Yeah, later that year, at like the American Music Awards or the Grammys or whatever it was, Michael did the moonwalk again. Like everyone, that was like a big thing. Like Michael Jackson's going to perform. It's rumored that he's going to do that new dance, the moonwalk again. And so yeah, I remember people talking about you can't do the moonwalk unless the floor is wet, and just the insanity.
All
But I'm
right.
not gonna lie. Every time I walk on a wet floor, I'll usually bust out a moonwalk in there.
I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to go ahead and tell, and then I will ask you. My favorite Michael Jackson song is Beat It. What's yours?
Oh, man. Man in the Mirror is a very popular one that I like. is not my favorite one. Man, just about anything off that Thriller album. I mean,
Dude, I will tell you this. I am kind of sick when I hear Billie Jean because they've really played that one out.
let me
I
think.
would take Beat It over Billie Jean any day.
Let's see.
Oh, I'll tell you another one that was really good back in the 90s was You Are Not Alone from the Free Willy movie.
Yeah. Smooth Criminal was my favorite video. Like I love that. Well, Thriller had to be my favorite Michael Jackson video.
Right.
But Smooth Criminal was a cool song, and I really liked Smooth Criminal. But let me think. Let me think. What was that? Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Nope. I do like that song.
Yeah.
But the one song, Steven just disappeared. I'm sure he'll be back. But the one song that I absolutely love, The Way You Make Me Feel.
Yes.
I absolutely love that song. 104.5 The River here in Memphis. They play that at a decent amount. I mean, if you listen to The River all day, I'm sure you'll hear it at least once.
Right.
But I used to love that video. I like that song. I just thought that's a storytelling video. If you never check that out, dude, I miss music videos.
I know.
They used to be so creative and so fun. And some went big bucks and high entertainment. Some told a story and made it cinematic. Some just like got out and like practiced out in the front yard and recorded it with a VHS camera. I mean, you know, who was that? Alien Ant Farm that redid Smooth Criminal. Do you remember that in the 90s?
I do.
Do you remember that video?
I don't. Not the video, no.
They're just outside in front of their house in like a lower middle class neighborhood. And they just like told like the local high school, like, hey, we're doing this video. Feel free to show up. They made it a party. And yeah, they had like a boxing ring and they're like performing in the boxing ring. And but he starts walking down a sidewalk and it's lighting up and he comes up and touches his mailbox and it lights up. It was great. It was great. I will post that video on the Facebook page today. You need to watch that one, Stephen. You'll be highly entertained of all the 80s reference. They had some girl put on like this werewolf mask because she was supposed to be like the Thriller, but she's got on like the satin jacket and she jumps off a diving board into the pool. And you're like, what are we doing? And they have all these references from other Michael Jackson videos in that video. And it's shot in the front yard of some neighborhood that you probably wouldn't drive through at night now.
Heath, the start of The Way You Make Me Feel, Michael Jackson goes, you knock me off of my feet now, baby. I love
We
that.
need to put that in the opening now.
Yes.
And an old clip of us going, we are out. We probably need to put like 8 of those together because we never got it right.
Right. All right. Heath,
put that in the close. We need to close, Stephen. We got to open. We need to close. You can put that in there. We are out.
All right, Heath, this one is to know that you never give up on your dreams and never give up on success. Can you tell me who got their GED on this day in 1993? Who was a major founder of a chain of restaurants that are still operational today?
Ray Kroc of McDonald's.
Dave Thomas.
I was going to guess him next. Dave Thomas of Wendy's.
Yes, the founder of Wendy's was a high school dropout. Dave Thomas passes the General Educational Development Exam. When he was awarded that, he was also given, people voted him most likely to succeed.
Wow. I will say this, Stephen. When I was a college student, I was a youth director at a church, and we were having some kind of fundraiser. We were having some kind of potluck. I can't remember what we sold or auctioned off. We might have auctioned off each other to do chores around the house, and we were just trying to raise money for the kids
Right.
and take them on a trip, pay for all their meals and everything. And we were getting food, we were getting this, and I think we were having a chili dog luncheon, is what we were having. And the local Wendy's heard about it and said, if you would like for us to donate some chili, let us know. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I immediately called them and said, not a problem. When do you want it? And I told them, he's like, how about we have it all together for you. Saturday, you can put it in the refrigerator there at the church, and then I'm like, all right, sure. So I didn't have my, expectations high. I want to say they gave us like 5 gallons of chili.
Oh my gosh.
They had already cooked it. They had already cooled it. They went the extra mile.
Yeah.
And still to this day, the Wendy's in Senatobia, Mississippi, I have purposely gone out of my way to give them my business,
Right.
just because of that. They helped. They didn't have any member go to our church, and that anytime you help children,
Yes.
anytime you help anybody, but you go out of your way to do it with a smile on your face and go up over and beyond.
Heath, you blinked on me again.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened. You blinked on me, but that was but I stayed up. But that time I went away. I don't know what happened.
All right, and Heath, finally, speaking of an auction, can you tell me what was sold in 2 years ago on this day in 2024 out in Hollywood? And this makes no sense to me. And it was at Planet Hollywood Auction.
It was auctioned in 1993.
2024.
Okay, it was auctioned in 2024 at a Planet Hollywood.
Yes, it
I
was
didn't even know we
called
had any Planet Hollywood left.
Hollywood Auction. Now, I could understand Indiana Jones as Bullwhip, and I could understand Jack Nicholson's axe from The Shining, but I cannot believe that somebody would want this. What is it?
Oh my dear Lord, Stephen, I have no earthly idea.
The door from the Titanic that saved Kate Winslet's character and killed Leonardo DiCaprio. And somebody bought it for $718,000 for a door. For a door. Oh my gosh! Like, come
Problems
on.
I'd like to have. Problems. I was like, I've got so much money. What do I want to spend it on that makes no sense? It'll make people ask questions. A problem I would love to have, Stephen.
And I know this, I would much rather have the axe or the bullwhip over a door.
Like, there's not too many things that I would want, or I would pay money for, like stupid money, if I had it, Stephen.
Right.
And I don't have it, so I don't have to worry about it. But like one of Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat guitars.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be cool.
That would be super cool. Maybe a car from a movie or a TV show. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is one of the original Knight Riders. This was the Knight Rider from season 1 to season 3 or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I may not do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend that. But yeah, I mean, All right, Steven, give me a stupid. I'm going to give you a stupid. I'm saying you are worth $5 billion. All right, that's 1,000 million times
Yeah.
5. Okay, you can afford that door. It won't make you blink. I still don't want it.
No. It's like, what?
But like Steven, what's your favorite movie or TV vehicle?
I mean, I guess the DeLorean. I don't know.
Okay, perfect. The DeLorean comes up for the original one, the one that we
Yes.
see most in the movie. It comes up for $718,000, and you got $5 billion. Like, you're not going to miss this money.
No.
Like, this is like, seriously, this is like $70 to you in
Right.
normal people money. If you got $5 billion, and this comes up for $718,000,
Right.
that's like $70 for a working man. Would I pay $70 for a DeLorean that was used in the movie? Yeah, for $70 I would. Would you spend $718,000 for the DeLorean?
Yes.
Okay.
Not a door. Not a door.
Yeah, not a door. Not a door.
All
I'll take
right.
it, Steven. I have to say this.
Let me ask this briefly.
Go for it.
Kay and John in the comments, would you have bought that door? I'm going to say no.
No, I wouldn't buy that door. No, it's a flipping door, man. That's all right. Here's a stupid fun question, Steven. You've got to buy a door. Money's no object. You have to buy a famous door. Like, what door do you want to buy?
I don't know.
The Titanic door is a reasonable door, but is there another door that you're like, hey, that'd be kind of cool to have? Like, I thought something in my head. I don't know if this is the door that I want, but the door that just popped in my head. Do you remember that Price is Right game where they had to do the safe? They had to do the 3 numbers. You get,
Yeah,
yeah. Did I disappear again because you blinked on me?
you did. Yes.
Like, that would be a cool door to have. I don't know where I'm gonna put that thing,
Right.
but like, I'm just trying to think. Maybe a door that John Wayne walked through, or Clint Eastwood.
Or maybe the one, hey, what about the one that Jack Nicholson tore up?
That would be a cool door.
Put the sword through in The Shining. Now that would be pretty cool. Like,
That would be a cool door to have.
that one right there, Jack Nicholson put that axe through just right there. But the one that Leonardo DiCaprio died on, no, thank you. No, I'm good.
What do you think? It's haunted?
I don't know. I don't want anything with death in my presence.
Don't get close to that door. It's haunted.
What?
Said, don't get close to that door. It's haunted.
Yeah.
Kids, don't play with that door. It might slam you back. I don't know. But
Hey, now that one.
okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. But I mean, what famous doors are, maybe like the door from Die Hard when they open it up and they're getting all the bonds out and what they're there to steal. I'm trying to think. Does someone have a door collection out there and it's like, hey, this one's from The Shining and this is the one from the Titanic, and like, what other doors are in the door collection?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
All right.
Famous
So
doors. That sounds like a bad Jeopardy, category. Today, famous doors.
oh my gosh! Wow,
He was
dude.
the lead singer of this famous group from the 70s. So it was Jim Morrison of the Doors. Correct.
I
Yeah, people
understand.
do collect door knobs.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
I
not
see you, Kay.
doors. Yeah.
But who collects a door? Steven, is there anything that you collect?
Yes, Godzilla memorabilia.
Okay. See,
I love everything Godzilla, man.
Dr. Hank Flick talked about this in class. Everybody collects something for some reason, and it's okay. But everyone collects something. I used to collect my ticket stubs. They don't do ticket stubs anymore. You get them on your phone. That still makes me mad. but ticket stubs. I used to collect baseball cards. I've done that forever. Gosh, I collect weed eaters because mine keep breaking.
Right.
But yeah, I'm Steven. I've done this. This is my pro tip of the day. Cowboys. Collect cowboys. There you
I've
go.
got like 25. No kidding.
I buy a lot of books, but I don't buy to collect. I'll say this: I wouldn't mind getting back into to baseball cards, but
Right.
I don't have the time, man. I was getting ready to say something. I forgot what I was about to say. I was leading up to it. We're talking about collecting. We're talking about dude, I need a nap so bad.
Right.
My brain is everywhere right now.
Well, Heath, let's go ahead and let you get that nap because this has been a blast.
I don't have time.
Now,
I'm getting that nap tonight. I'll get enough sleep when I'm dead, as John Wayne once said.
tomorrow, we have the Sweet 16 matchups of Texas and Purdue, Arkansas versus Arizona. We're going to break down both of those matchups for the Sweet 16 on the Thursday edition of the Stingray Show. And then on Friday, we will break down Alabama and Michigan and Tennessee versus Iowa State. So we did baseball today and yesterday. We're finishing up the week talking about the round of the Sweet 16 and if anybody from the SEC can make it to the Elite Eight.
There you go. See, but I remember what I was going to say now. Talking about I collect weed eaters. Here's your pro tip of the day. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
A good friend of mine, guy I grew up with, wonderful gentleman, phenomenal person, one of the greatest people on earth, named Keegan Bumpus. Love Keegan. Keegan and his wife were telling me that they taught me the term disposable weed eater. And I was like, what is a disposable weed eater? And they were like, we don't fool with it. We don't do this. We buy one just about every year. We go buy the cheap weed eater at Walmart or Home Depot, wherever. And as soon as it gives us problems, throw it away, go buy another cheap weed eater.
Right.
And I sat there because I keep buying these nice weed eaters and they last me 2 or 3 years. Then I start getting problems and then it's costing me money to fix it and this and that. And I'm trying to watch all these YouTube videos. And I was like, it would save me so much more time if I just bought a disposable weed eater.
Yeah.
Now, if I could get a disposable lawnmower, but yeah, that's not the case right now. But dude, I've had this lawnmower for 20 plus years. I've never had problems out of it. Like the last 2 summers, it's starting to give me problems. And I'm like, man, I don't want to do. Have you seen the prices of lawnmowers?
Yes.
Oh my dear Lord.
But dude, I
I
tell
bought a
you
work
what,
truck for those things.
dude, those zero turn mowers, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I got. And I love it. And I've had it forever.
Yeah.
Snapper, you make a phenomenal mower. If you'd like to support the Stingray Show and donate a mower, I know 2 guys.
Yes.
But yeah.
All right. So Heath, talking March Madness, Sweet 16, and who can get to the Elite Eight tomorrow and Friday on the Stingray Show, when we will break down tomorrow Texas, Purdue, Arkansas, and Arizona. And could Arizona be the next number 1 to go down? We will find out. And hey, Tim Brando thinks so because he posted he feels like that the weakest number 1 seed left in the tournament is Arizona.
I think I got Arizona. I hadn't looked at my bracket since Sunday night. I think I got Arizona winning this round but losing next round. I don't have them in the Final Four.
And Heath, I don't know if you heard this or not, but did you hear who ultimately retired? He called it quits.
I did not.
Bill Self.
Get out.
Bill Self.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, Steven, I'm going to do something random here on the show. Give me like 30 seconds. I think something just came in. It was something we were talking about. The FedEx guy is in my driveway. He just put something on my doorstep and ran back to his truck. Give me like 30 seconds. It may not be anything, but it might be something that we
Okay.
were just talking about. Give me 1 second.
All right. Oh boy, what is this going to be? And John, you're right. John Deere does make a decent tractor as well. Tractor, lawnmower, all that stuff. Case is good. Kubota is where it's at. So all of those are top notch when it comes to tractors and stuff like that. But like I said, guys, tomorrow begins the Sweet 16 action. And in Sweet 16, outside of the SEC, we've got Iowa and Nebraska and Illinois versus Houston. That is tomorrow. And then Michigan State and UConn. And we've got St. John's versus Duke. So how about the Big Ten flexing its muscles with Purdue, Iowa, Nebraska, Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State still dancing?
Yeah, I don't know. False alarm. I thought if my wife was a transformer, she'd be known as Amazon Prime.
Right.
No, my wife got some makeup sent in randomly, very randomly. Here like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about collecting things and this and that, and there's this guy who bought a $20 million or 20 million card collection, and the collection's worth an insane amount. I don't know how much it's worth, but this guy has over 20 million baseball cards, football cards, basketball cards, and he doesn't even know what's in his collection. So he's going through it.
Right.
And so he posts these videos, he does giveaways. And anyway, there was a giveaway, and it's one of those things where like this post, share it, and put in the comments, let's go. And you'll be entered to win. So I did one, and I won. I won. It was 3 rookie cards, and I haven't gotten them yet. That's what I thought the FedEx bin was. I was going to open them up like, dude, I got them. But yeah, Ron Sandberg, Wade Boggs, and Tony Gwynn all were rookies the same year. And it was going to get those 3 rookie cards. And and I haven't bought a baseball card or collected a baseball card in years, decades, multiple,
briefly,
maybe not even this millennium. Probably not this millennium.
Speaking of Major League Baseball, who are some guys that you would absolutely love to get on the Stingray Show to talk about their Major League Baseball careers? Because I've got quite a couple.
Oh,
This
show will go on for another hour.
I have Brian Dozier from Southern Miss talk about Hattiesburg and the Washington Nationals winning it all, because he won a ring with them. And then the other 2 are from Chop On. I would love to bring on Smoltz, who was absolutely incredible for Atlanta in the 90s. And the other guy, I would love to interview Chipper. Love to interview Chipper Jones, man.
Chipper always kind of got on my nerves. But I would love to talk to any of those guys.
Yeah.
Smoltz definitely.
Yes.
Of course, the one person with us having the show, there's people that you've always wanted to get. You won't ever get everybody that you want.
Right.
But there was someone I always kind of held out hope for, and it was Bob Uecker.
Right.
And he's no longer with us. Matter of fact, I saw a post this morning about Uecker. He did he did so many commercials, but he used to do Miller Lite commercials. And there was one like, he was sitting in the front row of a game, and they're like, "Hey, you're in the wrong seat, pal. You got to come with me." And he was like, "Oh, my seat must be on the front row." And then they put him up in the rafters, like behind a beam.
Right.
Well, at the ballpark in Milwaukee, where the Brewers play, the worst seat in the house has a statue of Bob Uecker sitting there with his arm around another chair. And so people are running up to the worst part of the ballpark, getting their picture made with Bob Uecker all the time
Wow.
in a statue. And but yeah, I would have loved to talk to Bob Uecker. Ozzie Smith was my favorite player.
Yes.
Don Mattingly, those two guys. I would love to talk to them. I'd like to talk about Jose Canseco stiffing me for an autograph at a bar in Baltimore when he played for the Tampa Bay Rays. There's a story behind that. I'd like to talk to Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Bo, I idolized you. I was even number 16 when I was in 5th grade, and I went to Tim McCarver Stadium when the Royals were playing an exhibition game, and I saw you at Tim McCarver Stadium multiple times when you played for the Chicks, the Memphis Chicks. It was the AA team at the time, and I asked you for your autograph, and as a 5th grade boy, you turned around and said, "F off, kid."
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah, I got at that stadium. We were at that stadium when the gates opened, and I ran in, and I was there before anybody was there. I was the very first one there. And
Talk about rude.
yeah, and I get it. Every kid asked him for his autograph. That probably still does. But yeah, you told 11-year-old boy to F off. And yeah,
That's
I
not
was
cool.
yeah. But we got a score to settle. He would whoop me.
And
So
he,
I actually have sympathy for Bo Jackson. I do, because those people, everybody wants a piece of you, and they just want a quick picture. They want a quick autograph. Well, you can't do it for everybody, and I get that. And he was preparing for a game. It was an exhibition game in a stadium that he used to play at in minor leagues, where he was very well beloved. But yeah, I could have said, no, not at this time, but F off. I was like, come on, man. Same thing with Will Clark, man. Will Clark, saw him stumbling drunk in the Adams Mark Hotel. I think I was in 7th grade then. Asked him for his autograph. And there was like 4 or 5 of us boys waiting on him. And he don't effing ask, kids, or you little brats. He called us kids or brats or something. Don't even effing ask, you little brats. I think he said brats. As Matt Williams. Matt Williams was carrying Will Clark. Will couldn't even stand up. He was so drunk.
right.
But yeah.
Heath, briefly, before we get out of here, I don't know if you knew this or not, but can you tell me what major player in another sport played 1 year for the Birmingham Barons in 1994?
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
And
Yeah.
I actually got to go see him at a game.
I got to see him here in Memphis when they came through Memphis.
Yeah.
I watched him here in Memphis. And yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah. And Stephen, we'll wrap it up with this. That same guy that does the here, I'll give a shout out to him on the show. I wouldn't mind having this guy on the show if we're going to talk baseball one day. If we're going to talk professional baseball.
Right.
But
Hey, all that during the summer when it's hot.
Oh,
when
yeah.
there's nothing really to talk about.
Yeah, definitely after Omaha.
Yeah, get College World Series out of the way, in between College World Series and SEC Media Days. Got about 2 weeks there where it's just dead. We could talk MLB.
Yeah, Tim, what's Tim's last name? Tim Bonazak, the Big League Fan on Instagram. And yeah, he's worked hard all of his life, and he was fortunate enough that this massive collection came up, and it just happened to be 15 minutes from his town. And he bought the collection, and he knew some of the stuff that's in it. He didn't know all the stuff that's in it. And yeah, he likes telling stories, but he's a goofy looking guy, but he's so entertaining, and he's so energetic about what he does. So it's kind of fun. But he been out of collecting cards and stuff and got back into it during COVID.
Yes.
And now he's some bigwig on social media go through all this stuff. So it's kind of fun to see all of it, just to see his excitement of stuff that he finds. It's pretty cool.
Heath, that's going to wrap up another lengthy show of the Stingray Show, talking Alabama and Auburn and other things as well. We will be talking March Madness and the Sweet 16 tomorrow. for the SEC. And then on Friday, we will do the same for the 2 games of the SEC there as well. Have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday out there. Heath, go get some sleep, my friend, because you look like you need it, and you act like you need it because you cannot keep a train of thought.
I can't today, man. I
And
can't.
and
The thing
so
is, David, I can't go to bed till tonight. It's time to go to bed. I can't get a nap in, man. I need it, but I'm not going to get it. And I have to do practice tonight, too. I never practice on Wednesdays. And like I said, I'm assistant coach in this team, and this was the only night they could fit it in. I'm like, you're killing me, man. I was going to try to make it to church and then come home and just crash. Now I got to go to practice. I don't come home and crash.
need a Monster Energy, bro.
I've never done the energy drinks. It might be today. Today might be the day.
Yes.
I don't drink coffee, so I just might do that.
All right, Heath, see y'all tomorrow on the Stingray Show. We are not out yet. Heath, go ahead and say it.
Sayonara, good Lord willing. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. On another fun-filled edition of the Stingray Show. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. Jeff Bagwell of Honey Hole Fisheries right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is a professional biologist who specializes in lake management. If you are interested in helping build the pond or lake of your dreams, or if you need help deciding if property you own is a good location to build a pond, you can contact Jeff Bagwell at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is Jeff Bagwell and Honey Hole Fisheries at 205-799-0192. Contact him today and let him help you build the lake or pond of your dreams, or also stock your pond or lake with fish that you most desperately need. It's a new year, and now is the best time to review your insurance policies. With a helpful customer service team here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha Insurance to create a customized plan to protect your family's home and autos. You can stop by his office at 3428 McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or simply call 205-462-8192, or call the number on your screen right there. And remember, with Alpha Insurance, the more you protect it, the more you save. Reach out to the Jeff Nee Agency of Alpha today for all of your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender.